That's what's up. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Mi amor. What's up, lady? All right. So I've noticed that there is a misunderstanding uh, in regards to whether Moorish Americans are Moroccan subjects, right? There's a lot of hype throughout social media about Moorish Americans somehow being the rulers of America, that America, some way, somehow, is Morocco, and other like assertions, right? So I'm going to do my best to confer to you the truth in regards to citizenship, right? So Moorish Americans are descendants of Moroccan Moors. Moroccan Moors are from Morocco. They are subjects of Morocco. They are nationals of Morocco. They are Moroccan born nationals. Okay? Not the Moorish Americans. The Moorish Americans are born in America as American Moors. Moors that are all throughout the 50 states. Okay? So these Moroccan Moors came from Morocco to America, established their trade routes and their estates, right? And then that posterity, right, through time became American Moors. Okay? So their descendants are American born. They're not subjects of Morocco. Moorish Americans are Moroccan by bloodline and American by birthright. Moorish means pertaining to the Moors. Pertaining to what Moors? The Moroccan Moors. We are like the Moroccan Moors, but we are their American progeny. We are their American posterity. Moors in Sicily, the Sicilians who are of bloodline Moorish descent, they're not from Morocco. The people of Al-Andalus, they're not from Morocco. They had babies in Al-Andalus or in Spain. They established their estates there. Those children, those descendants of those Moors, they are European. Right? Moorish Americans, this is what we are not. We are not Moroccan subjects of the kingdom. Our ancestors were the subjects of the kingdom. Because we are born here, we are subject to the laws and governance that our ancestors established on this continent. But we are not. We are not foreign to American constitutional nationalism. We are Republican. We have the white status. We are recognized as sovereign and free, not bond servants of another nation, all right? And we are not party to the Moroccan Treaty of 1787. What you mean? What you mean we ain't party to that treaty? All right, so let me walk you through it, right? Because again, a lot of these Moors, these are the things that they're hanging on, you know, and they're hanging on these things without qualification, in my opinion, in my professional opinion. All right. So let me show y'all something. Question. All right. All right. Here's my first question, right? In what year were the Moors of America denationalized? The Moors of America represents the Moorish Americans. We find the answer in Drew Ali's information in his newspaper article that the lights of the Moorish Americans in America were put out in the year 1774. So in 1774, the Moorish Americans were strategically misnomered. All right, they were excluded from the government upon which their ancestors had established along with others in the more perfect union. Okay. All right. Next question. Okay. Here's the next question, right? In what year were the Moroccans and European nations of America established via treaty? The Treaty of Peace and Friendship, the Moroccan Treaty of Peace and Friendship, was established in the year 1787. So these Moorish Americans were not party to this treaty. We were already removed within the standard of law, as far as national citizenship. We are the American Moors. Understand that what I'm saying is that the Kingdom of Morocco, right, and the European nations in America colluded together to displace the descendants of the ancient Moors who were here in America. So this treaty ain't got shit to do with us. In this treaty, it relates to Moroccan subjects not being American nationals or citizens of the United States. We are not Moroccan subjects and never were. This is where our bloodline stems from. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am Moroccan through national descent, but I am an indigenous American. My ancestors planted me here as a seed, and through generations, I came. I'm not a Moroccan born. subject. I'm not a Moroccan national. My ancestry, my citizenship, my nationality is Moorish American. Why? Because I'm a descendant of the Moroccan, but my birthright, where you're born, is here in America. So all of these Moors out here sounding, to me personally, as educated fools, trying to tell you that we are not Americans and that we are supposed to return to Morocco. They are not following the Moorish Americans' economic security in Maine. They're not. They're not following Noble Jew Ali's instructions. They're not in the ranks of the Moors that Noble Jew Ali brought back into the constitutional fold of government. What does Noble Jew Ali say about us as Moorish Americans, us as Africans? Just let me read this. I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah. All right. So this is from the Moorish literature newspaper articles, right? Article number 34. Right, the Moorish Science Temple of America. What does Noble Jew Ali tell us? Right? He says, hear this. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any back to Africa movement. And then he clarifies, such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group, so Moorish Americans or American citizens colonizing Africa, are concerned. Jew Ali is saying that we're not reaching back into history and saying that we are even participating in that. That's not us. We are not Pan-Africanists. We are not trying to go back anywhere. We are at home. Anything relative to the Moors in Africa, colonizing Africa, that does not concern us, these Moorish Americans. All right? Another thing I would like to point out, right? Because you have a lot of these Moorish Americans out here who are trying to distinguish. They are not dealing in free and equal. They are dealing in segregation. Segregation implies that unity means amalgamation. All right? And we're not into amalgamation. We're not saying that we want to be another group of people, right? What Noble Jew Ali is stating to us is that we are integrating as one of the nations within the states, and then as the states within the union, right? We're from here. This is our land, just like it is the land of the other nations. All right? We are not here to be acting like y'all got to get out. Those who are not nationalized, right, and those who don't have proper allegiance to the state, same thing, right, will have to return back to their lands of origin. America is the land of origin of the Moorish Americans. This is why we can't be deported. If I was a Moroccan subject, if Moorish Americans were Moroccan subjects, if something were to happen, we would be deported ICE would come slide all the way through and tell us go back to Morocco. This is not happening. But according to what these other Moors are telling us, oh, we're Moroccan subjects and etc. We should be being deported whenever whenever we violate. Right? Drew Ali says, listen, right? Just like really hear what these are Drew Ali's words, right? He's explaining to us our national citizenship doctrine. All right. Listen, right? And before I go, he says that the Moorish science we are here, the divine principles that our movement stands for, right? Obedience to law, just keep that in mind, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, which is dealing with religion, and unity. We are saying that we are part of the whole. All right, listen, man. We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. It is only from a purely religious standpoint, it seems at this time, that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. What? First, he says, like countless other Americans. Other, meaning that we are Americans as well as these other Americans. And he says that we're supposed to live together here in America. So all this back to Morocco stuff and you gotta be, that's not coming from Drew Ali. And then he goes on to say that the only difference, it seems at that time, when he established the movement between the Moorish Americans and all other Americans, is that Moorish Americans adhere to the Muhammadan administration of trust and estates. That's it here in America. And under the First Amendment, we have the right of religious expression. This is why Drew Ali turned his civic organization into a religious corporation to give us that provision under Constitution, not necessarily treaty, Constitution. I don't know where these people be getting all this. Yeah, we're not like them. I'm not Kendrick Lamar. I'm not singing that shit. I'm not for that. Drew Ali wasn't for that. We're supposed to live here in harmony. Harmony does not mean, oh, you gotta go home because this is my land. That's not harmony. That's not harmony. And that's not Sufism either. Moorish Americans deal with the Sufic practice within traditional Islam. We deal with the higher gnosis, which pertains to all of creation. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, yo. 100. Right? So again, right? I'm gonna read something else to you all, right? Whenever you hear on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or anywhere, whenever you hear these people talking about some type of separation, segregation, I need you to understand that Drew Ali did not bring that. He didn't bring that. Thank you. Right? Well, by the way, just for those who don't know, I've been studying Islam since 2001. I've been studying the Moorish paradigm since 2012. Okay. And I have not been studying inside of a temple. I had to observe, as Noble Drew Ali tells us to do, right? Appreciate that love right there, right? What am I trying to recall? Yeah. All right. Listen to what Noble Drew Ali says, right? It's called no. It's called Think This Over You Moors. Is this the one? No, this is not. But this is a good one too. But I'll speak about that later because, let me read this because I feel like this is the one. No, this is about, all right, this is about our finance. And this is Noble Drew Ali telling us that when the New Deal comes, that we are to get in line. So that's not the one I'm looking for. And again, Noble Drew Ali told us that we're a part of this government, and he told us to prepare for the New Deal. He didn't tell us, oh, they are overthrowing our government, and none of that fucking nonsense. The New Deal was not only necessary, but inevitable. Just like we're going off of the gold standard, just like we went off the gold standard to the debit credit standard, we're going to go off of the debit credit standard as far as notes and whatnot, fiat currency, and we're going into digital, right? We have to stay with the times. But anywho, let me speak on this, right? This is called a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. Now, this is a little lengthy, okay? And let me see here. I will call you tomorrow for sure. Peace and love, beloved. I got on here in hopes that you would come on and at least hear what, we've been talking about. You feel me? And when this is all done, there's a link in the bio for the YouTube channel. All of my lives are conveyed into YouTube. So if there's anything that you've missed after this production goes off, you'll be able to recap. All right, Islam. So listen to what Noble Drew Ali, he's telling us about who we are, Moors, the American Moors, not the Moroccan Moors, right? Not the Turkish Moors, right? Not the Hindu Moors, right? The American Moors. Gotcha. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. And I always use myself as example so that you can follow, right? Free national constitution. Okay, and equals a free national government. What is the name of my free national government? Okay, now keep that in mind. I'm going to read that line again, right? The citizens of all free national governments, according to their free national, the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution. So that shouldn't, but all right, whatever. Are all of one family bearing one free national name. So whatever the national government's name is, under the constituency, that is what the name of the people are. So everyone in Pennsylvania, everyone whose birthplace is Pennsylvania, they are my family. Muslim or not, they are my family. Because we bear the same free national name. All right? And then uniformly, we are all Americans. Right? And that brings all of the 50 national states in union. Right? He says, those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. So if you are not recognized under a national state administration, then you are you fail. Why would you? No, that's somebody else. No. Excuse me. Those who fail to recognize, right? Undesirables. Those who are not recognized by their state are stateless. Those who act not as the creditors of the nation will be mistreated for being an imposter, for being an enemy, for being a foreigner who has no allegiance to the family. Right? One who is not recognized, you're not even, that's not even an individual who has been adopted. You're not recognized. All right. That's what it's speaking about is U.S. statelessness. All right. It says, and it is a sin. Sin is transgression of the law, and a transgression of the law in religion, conveying it into constitutional terms, it's debt. D-E-B-T. Sin equals debt. So it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government. So that means in any of the 50 states, if you're not identified, if you have not made that claim and you're not identified as one of the people of the state, because remember, national standards makes both the man and the nation, the people and the state, right? Excuse me, I forgot where I was going, but it says, and it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. So Noble Drew Ali was talking to us specifically because it is the Moorish Americans operating as African Americans, Black Americans, Black Indians, Black anything, right? That are mistreated and treated like slave people. He's talking to the Moorish Americans when he says this, but he's saying that this is a universal law. It is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. To cling to the names and principles, Black, Negro, colored, and anything else that deals with federal first regulation, right? State citizens deal with their state first. And the federal government has limited jurisdiction. Limited. Not that it's completely gone. It's limited. Right? Because the federal jurisdiction deals with your estates. Okay. All right. He says, I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. So Charlie told us we're supposed to be Americans. I don't understand where these other Moors are coming out trying to say that we're anything other than that. Charlie is telling us right here. This is our ancestors' ancient state of mind. To be law abiders in America. As Americans, man. I'm going to skip through this, right? I'm going to get to the meat, right? Drew Ali tells us, he says, I love my people, and I desire their unity, Moorish Americans, and mine, Moorish American, back to their own free national and divine standard. Because day by day, they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government, claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. So, where are the Moorish Americans claiming to be African Americans? Are they claiming to be African Americans in Morocco? No. Anywhere in Africa? No. So Drew Ali is definitely talking about this government, right? This constitutional government. Now listen. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians, mind you, right? These are all who has jurisdiction over me? Who has my state? My state. In its Republican Article 4, Section 4 capacity. That's who has jurisdiction over me. Not Pennsylvania, the federal district administration that's dealing with democracy and the estates. No. Not Pennsylvania the public, but Pennsylvania the republic. Brought back into the public, out of the private into the light. Right? Okay, let me continue. Listen. He says, if all of these nations, mind you, these are not, these are people of descent, right? If Italians, they're from Italy, Europe, right? Arabians are from Arabia, Asia, right? Saudi Arabia, Asia. He says, if they are all forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, before the who? Before what government? Not before the government of their lands. You got Moors. So I'm not going to call them Moorish Americans. The one dude actually said that we're not Moorish Americans. Whatever. Right? But, I keep losing my spot in my mind. But it's cool. He says, if they are forced, right, to proclaim their free national name and religion. Now, mind you, this is what Noble Jew Ali is telling us to do, right? Proclaim our free national name and religion, right? Before the constitutional government of the United States of America. Before what government? He says it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. So he's saying that the Moorish Americans are also supposed to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America in order to be protected in the land. Italian Americans, they're not Italian born, they're Italian descent. And mind you, these are all white nations. According to race and ethnicity, all of them. He named Asia, Europe, and then he's insinuating that us as North Africans are under the same law. Now, if you study the SF 181 form, you will see that white as the commercial status, right, pertains to persons who have origins in the original persons of Europe. That's Turkey. He mentioned Turkey. Let me check and make sure. He mentioned Turkey. Look. He mentioned Italy, Greece, England, right? That's Europe. And then he mentioned Japanese, Turks, and Arabians. So that's Asian. So that's Eurasian. All right? White means a person belonging to any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East. So that's Eurasia. And North Africa. He's telling the Moorish Americans that we're supposed to be American citizens. He's not telling us that we're supposed to be over here trying to link up back with Morocco or overthrow any of the laws of the American government. That's what a lot of these Moors, the radical agitating speech. Yeah, we're Moroccans. Yes, I'm a fucking Moroccan. Absolutely, by descent. By descent. It's my bloodline. But my birthright. Birth is being born. My right of birth is on this soil. Under this government. Now listen, right? Remember, I told you earlier, our light as Moorish Americans was cut off in 1774. But what does Noble Drew Ali got to say about that, right? He says the word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word Niger. You know what I mean? The same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, basically a disguise. He says, in every nation, this is the Moorish America. This is the Moorish nation. There's an Italian nation, right? There's a Greek nation, an English nation, etc. He says, and every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers. He didn't say to be born where your ancestors were born. He said to carry the flag, carry the lineage, know where you've come from. All right. He says, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. He says, these names, Negro, black, colored, African, American, all right, as citizenship, right? These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. So you have some Moorish Americans who say we're the only American citizens, and then you have other Moorish Americans who say that we're not American citizens. Which the fucking one is it? Because Drew Ali is saying that there are other true American citizens who don't recognize the Moorish Americans as black, Negro, colored, or whatever it is today. Right? Remember, I mentioned 1774 for a reason. All right, he says, through your, right? This is everyone in America, but he's speaking specifically to the Moorish Americans because the Moorish Americans are learning how to be better citizens. Okay? He says, through your free national name You are known and recognized. So that's civiliter vivus. That's in full life. So you are recognized. It says, through your free national name, right? You are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. I live in the state national government of Pennsylvania. I'm recognized by every state, country, or nation that recognizes Pennsylvania. And this is a shot at those Moors out there talking about, oh, we need to establish our own states. We already have them. Drew Ali did not. None of the prophets came to break the law. They came to bring everybody back in because they done fucking fell away. You understand me? Arizona, that's word. Peace and love to you. Arizona. All right. Arizona, our Orissa. But that's another, all right, listen, right? He says the 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in union. Let me stop right there. The 14th and 15th Amendments pertain to who? Those who are so-called African Americans. So again, he's talking to the Moors. He's explaining some shit to the Moors. Okay? He says the 14th and 15th Amendments, and again, let me stop. 14th Amendment citizenship declares all Africans who are not recognized, right, as foreign subjects and slave debtors. They have citizenship provided to them under Congress, not under Constitution. It can be taken from them. All right? And the 15th Amendment is the voting aspect of this newfound citizenship for the stateless, for the debtor. Right? All right. He said these brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners who were at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. He says, and at that time, so when this happened in 1865, he says the free national constitutional law that was enforced since 1774, remember that's when our lights went out. He said that this Constitution declared all men equal and free. So that means in 1774, we were not recognized as the living man. We were now recognized as some type of chattel property, right? But he's saying that despite the fact, right, that our lights were put out in 1774 by law, and you cannot change the law, we still have rights in the land, right? Okay. He says that if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. Now, there's been a lot of BS when relative to that statement, our people and citizens, where you have people trying to say, you know, that the citizens are other people. We're not citizens, right? You'll get this from R.V. Bey, Canaan Land Moors, Taj Tariq Bey, and all of those soft shit, foreign doctrine innovators, right? They'll tell you to some degree, we're not citizens, right? We are the people, and then there's other citizens. You have to, let me show you. I always show you better than I can tell you, right? That when he says that does not apply to our people and citizens, it's because our people at that time were learning how to be citizens. And so again, Drew Ali is trying to bring us all together. All right. But I'm just going to show you, for those Moors who follow those who I've mentioned and other deviant ideologies, right? I want to show you. All right. This is a copy of the filing of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, right? Hold on one second. Hold that thought. All right, so this is before it was the Moorish Science Temple of America. This was the civic, right? And mind you, Drew Ali only changed it from the Moorish Holy Temple of Science to the Moorish Science Temple of America, not taking the foundation off, just adding a cloak of religious First Amendment security, right? So if you look, let me bring it to you so you can see it first and foremost, right? You can see that, right? Moorish Holy Temple of Science, right? Right? Okay. Now, right here. Right here. So, I'm going to read to you from here to here, okay? To Louis L. Emerson, Secretary of State, Drew Ali. There's another name, Lomax, James Lomax, Johnny Reynolds, Eddie Watts, and Sammy Rucker. Citizens of the United States propose to form a corporation under an act of the General Assembly of the State of Illinois entitled An Act Concerning Corporations. All right? So Drew Ali acknowledged us as citizens of the United States. How are we not citizens? But that's not, you know what, because, look. Shit. Where my finger is, right? It tells you the objective. What is the object? To uplift fallen humanity, and what else? And teach those things necessary to make men and women, our men and women, better what? Citizens. Citizens. The whole Moorish divine and national movement is teaching us how to be citizens alongside our fellow nations within the nation. All of these knuckleheads talk about we ain't citizens, you can't. How are you a citizen of a corporation? Like, they say all of these things without qualification, and most people aren't qualified themselves, and so they just say, yeah, right, you cannot be a citizen of a corporation, but you can be a member of a corporation. Every government is a corporation. Every. Private and public. So you are a member, right, of the constituency, and a citizen, meaning an official personage within that body politic, within that state, those territories. You're a citizen of the territory. You know? Who are they? Who are they that you say cannot own land? Regina. We are the government. But you're right. They cannot own land. They only hold land. The people in the state, when they're right and exact, operate as one. So it's the people who are operating the state government who hold the land titles within the trust. We are the people of the land that have to administer these trusts and estates. And we do it through our states. So the people who are in government of the states know they don't own it. They don't own it all themselves. They are the elected and or appointed members of the family of the free national government, of the state government, who are in office to assist. They act as trustee and beneficiary, and they are administering to those who have yet to claim their national standing. Noble Drew Ali brought this info to us over 100 years ago, and still arguing about who they are. Not quite sure how you're saying it, beloved, but you know. But hold on, let me bring Bro up here, because speak on international crime court and no, I'm not speaking on that. I'm not speaking on that right now. Yes, they are holding it until we get ourselves together. So let me explain that, right? Because we have the Moorish Americans who are in the temples who think that they're saved. They remind me of the brothers and sisters of Christianity who are in their churches, and they think that because they're a part of their church and they're full of Jesusness, that they're saved, but they're only saved when they're inside the church. They're not saved when they come outside. Okay? We got a lot of Moorish Americans in the temples out here who are still operating under the old economic system pre-1933. You have Moors out here who are trying to fight tooth and nail about, they ain't got no gold and silver. Our ancestors pledged all of our funds in 1933, just like every other nation, pledged it to the national government so that the burden of administration can be taken off of the people in the land and to be assisted through administration of the state. And in order for an individual's estate to be properly redeemed, an individual has to declare that they have to make the claim to be recognized. Oh, okay, yes. You know how to administrate your estate. You've come to your administration that has your finance from your ancestors, right, held in trust for you. Yes, here's your authorized representative nationality card, aka passport, that identifies you as one of we the people. Right? But I want to read to you, and I just found it odd that a lot of these Moors missed this part, right? Again, I made a statement that Drew Ali was preparing us for the Emergency Banking Act. That's important to understand. It's already laid the foundation for all of us so-called blacks in America. Yes. Am I familiar with the name McQueen? No, not. All right, so listen, right? This is called Think This Over, You Moors. I'm going to qualify it. He is explaining to the people of the organization, right, how to do banking, how to pool your own resources so that you can circulate for the benefit of your corporate body, politic, organization, business, right? He says all sheiks, grand sheiks, so these are trustees, okay? It just means trustees, must prepare for the prophet before he comes to visit them. Must see to it that all is clean and in perfection as far as comfort as possible, or otherwise don't arrange to have his presence. All members, constituent members, should pay from 25 cents to 50 cents weekly towards the emergency fund. The fund will increase so that it will soon amount to the grand sum total of $1,000. That is, if you are loyal Moors. The emergency fund goes into the bank. Okay. The treasurer will tend to the responsibility of seeing that the money, remember, you talk about money at this time, is in the bank. So that's the gold, the silver, right? And under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America Finance. He says, now mind you, and if I'm wrong, you correct me. Mind you, he's telling us about how to do our finances, how our economic security system is operating at that specific time. Now, what does he say? When needed, not if needed, not if ever needed, not should it come to pass. Listen, when needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. Drew Ali just told us that there was a time that was going to come when all of our finances were going to be pledged back to the national government under the Emergency Banking Act, which took all the gold and silver and secured it, consolidated it, and allowed for the people to be removed of burden, right? In 1933, everything converted to fiat currency, debit and credit. He said, and when the time comes. So everything he was doing then was to prep us for then. If he's a prophet, then that means that he's able to forecast and foretell. So he was foretelling us of the new economic system that was coming into play and getting us ready for it. The Emergency Banking Act was not, them niggas didn't steal shit from us. That was the new deal the people agreed on. Here, take our gold and hold it for us, right? And administrate it according to numbers on the ledger. Do that for us. We're on that side of the motherfucking docket now. They are a part of America about the treaty of peace and friendship. I'm going to just keep it a bean. Again, Moorish, stop using the U.S. corporation's constitution, the empire. Okay, Amir Bey. No, Amir Bey. No, not at all. That's not what Drew Ali said. Drew Ali did not tell us to stop using the U.S. corporation and constitution. Drew Ali keeps telling us to enforce the U.S. Constitution. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. Just being honest with you. And I see your name is Amir Bey. What's your last name? Drew Ali also told us don't get rid of our last names because we have birthrights under them. Just saying. Just saying. A lot of y'all Moors out here, unfortunately, you may very well be one of the Moors that I'm pointing out. When you're not following the prophet and you're agitating and you're radical and you have foreign doctrine, you mean well, but you got hate in your motherfucking heart. How can I know more about Drew Ali? Islam. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. So, I have his literature, right? All of the literature that I could find of his that was made public. Okay? And you don't have to get it from me, right? I'm not a gatekeeper at all whatsoever, right? But if you would, drop me your email in my messages, right? And when I get done with this, right, I will send you the PDF file of all 4 publications that are in this right here, right? And if you would like it to be bound this way, we also offer that service because we're friends and servants of humanity. All right. I got no problem. By all means, I appreciate you appreciating what's yours. Here's another thing, right? I'm gonna lay this out here. Moor does not mean dark skin. Moor does not mean African. I need to make that known. Moor does not mean dark skinned people. It's used connotatively. But Moors, let's take the word Moors out and substitute it with Muslims. Let's take the word Muslims out and substitute it with creditors. Ain't got shit to do with what you look like or where you're born. It has everything to do with the creed that you adhere to. There are pale-skinned Moors. They are in Europe. We can call them Sicilians. The Sicilians are Moors. They're not dark-skinned. A lot of these people love to say the European, like as if the European are not Muslims. Turkey is both in Europe and in Asia. In Europe and in Asia. And for all of you Moorish Americans out there who unfortunately have that blemished, blackened, inequitous heart, right? For all of you, I'm going to show you that Noble Drew Ali identified a pale-skinned European as a Moorish American sheikh, as a prophet, just for clarity, so that we can get past this whole trying to identify people by, skin color. Regarding status correction, what do I need to provide to vital statistics to fix his Moor heritage? Nothing. Vital statistics. You need to align yourself with the Grand Major Temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and not any of these little branch temples that are not acting in accordance. Right? Declare your national and religious. Hold on one second. There we go. You need to declare your standing as a Moorish national and as a citizen of your state. All of this process, basically, you need to fill out the DS-11 form appropriately. Appropriately. I stress that. And affix an affidavit of truth of your status, of your, and that's what will get you what you need to get. Everything else, when you're operating with your passport and you're doing business in that name and number rather than the Social Security and birth certificate, it's already on record. You're private. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to do anything with vital records. Everyone's birth certificate entity is black. So why change it? Black just means debtor. Why change it? I'm not going to change the debtor. So what you need to do is, again, DS-11 form, affidavit of national allegiance, outlining your religion and national principles, right? And a declaration that you, or a proclamation that you yourself, or from like myself, I declare that I'm a Pennsylvanian. I am a free national citizen of this free national republic of the USA. All right. So how do I claim my heritage as a Moorish American? And let me bring you up, because I can't keep trying to look at the screen and answer everybody's questions. Please, by all means, if you come up, I'll help you. I can answer your questions more effectively. And that's a good question. It's a necessary question that you asked as well. So I hope that you do join me and come up. I sent it to the sister Regina. Would you please come up? All right, yeah, and let me write that on the board so I don't forget what I intended to do before I read her question. That's just so that I remember. So you're not going to come up? No, I mean, you can inbox me, but again, if you go, yes, all right. If you don't wish to speak, that's fine. Yes. I'll do what I can for. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is somebody else. All right, we'll see what's going on here. All right, we'll see what's going on here. But yes, you can. I'll answer your questions in the messages if that's how you wish. Peaceful greetings.
How you doing, brother? Love the information.
Thank you. How can I assist you, beloved?
So I sent a message in regarding to the heritage and correcting your status. I pretty much have done some of the information. I've submitted information to the state as a national proclamation to the state. I've done that. I've done actually done a affidavit of ownership, and I got that on record. I'll submit the information.
You have your passport?
No, I don't have a passport.
You do not have a passport?
No, sir.
All right, so everything that you've done, there's nothing wrong. Everything that you've done is valid. But in order for you to enforce it, right, without problem, I'll put it that way, right? In order to you to enforce it, not just on principle, but as principle, that's the purpose of securing your person in the identity of your passport as a state national. So all of these things are inherent and already expressed through that passport. Everything, the filings that you've made are similar to the filings that I've done, right? And the difference between yourself and myself is that I have a document that states the following, basically. The passport is your national identification. It tells you of your nationality and your citizenship. Your nationality would be USA, meaning that you're American, and then on your passport, the birthplace, where your birthright jurisdiction comes from, right? Like mine says Pennsylvania, USA is my birthplace. So if you wish to present yourself in propria persona, right, in all of your dealings, then you must first be recognized by your state in order to be identified as one of the people of the state. And then through that, all of these things will be added unto you. They'll already be asserted whenever someone were to, you would utilize your passport. Like right now, currently, I'm just stating, I have taken, we'll talk in terms of creditorship, right? Ownership, statehood. I've taken my birth name and social security number off of my utility records, and I've replaced it with my with my passport name with title and number. And what that does is that identifies the account holder now as the creditor as opposed to the debtor. And I need to. I'm waiting for this 30-day billing cycle to turn over to see if it actually offsets, discharges, settles, zeros the account as it should, given this current economic system.
Okay, so 2 questions. The first one, you brought up the DS-11 for the passport.
Yes.
in regards to going that route versus going through the Social Security Administration and the birth
I
certificate?
only brought up the DS-11 form, right? So for those who have who've studied it, right, you'll see that the white status. I only brought it up to identify that the white status refers to Africans, Europeans, and Asians.
Okay.
That's what I brought it up for. I'm not telling anyone that they should fill it out. No, you don't need to authenticate the birth certificate. Told them. I'm just replying to someone. You don't have to authenticate the birth certificate here in the United States because it's self-authenticating. It's issued to you by one of the states here in America. The only purpose of authenticating or apostilling a birth certificate, understanding that the birth certificate is a security instrument, is when you're dealing in commerce with countries that don't follow the UCC.
Okay.
So to the individual, the name told them, telling people to authenticate the birth certificate. And mind you, I'm speaking from experience. I authenticated mine in Taiwan. All right.
Likewise.
And I understand after doing so that I'm not doing any business. I'm never going to Taiwan. So me doing this it's for fraudulent purpose. These are processes that people are selling people. Damn, they keep cutting me so bad. These are processes. These are processes that are being sold to people. They have use, but they're not effective in this specific. How can we say this? Administration of one's government of one's trust. You don't have to authenticate your birth certificate. The full faith and credit is already backed by every. Damn, they keep chopping me up. You're already backed by your state. And again, this is the point. This is the whole intention of getting your passport. Because once you get your passport, then all of the debt collateral that is valued as debits under your strawman, under your transmitting utility, is conferred onto the other side, onto the creditor side of the ledger. So your full faith and credit is activated once you are in proper commercial standing.
Okay.
First step, second. So how do you get a passport? All right. So you know what? Give me 1 second and allow me, this brother here. I do apologize, beloved, for cutting you off. And
no problem.
By all means, the floor is yours, man.
And my second question was, I did my UCC 1 to become a secure party, but as I did it underneath my original name. I didn't have my surname Bay after my last name.
Bay is not your surname. Bay is not your name. Bay is your title. But I hear you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, my name is Brandon Eugene Davis.
Yes,
and
sir.
then my name with title is Brandon Eugene Davis L. So Brandon Eugene Davis is my debtor. And Brandon Eugene Davis L is the creditor. I did that filing as well, but please continue.
Awesome. In regards to the title, when submitting that information so that it actually becomes part of the name, is it something we have to do per the Social Security Administration for it to be referenced?
So the purpose of annexing a title to your name, it deals with assumed names and assumed titles. Okay, it is distinguishing the debtor from the creditor. So I've also seen people. I'll give you an example, right? The mayor or the police chief of the town, of the municipality that I'm in. Everyone knows him as Thomas Shaw, but his real name is William Thomas Shaw. And so what he has done is he has distinguished another entity, Thomas Shaw, right, to act on behalf of William Thomas Shaw. And so for the Moorish Americans, the L, or Bay or Ali or Day or whatnot, would act as the distinguishing personality between, oh my gosh, between the name of the debtor, or the person of the debtor, and the person of the creditor.
Okay. So that would that be the same as basically having power of attorney over the actual all caps name? Or would that be
Yeah, so
something totally different?
you have power of attorney with your national identification, your passport, because again, you're becoming a constituent member, or a constitutional member of the party, and so everyone in the constituency has their own power of attorney, right? I'm getting chopped up so bad over here, man. This is why I stopped coming on TikTok. I bullshit you not.
I understand.
I get to talking, and then they just be chopping me up, and I don't know what the last thing people be hearing, man.
on my side, I mean, I'm hearing you pretty clear. It's not okay on my end, but folks.
Shit, what was I saying?
You're speaking about the copyright, not copyright, the power of attorney.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right, constituency. So, as a constituent member of your state, a constituent can attorn for and represent another member in their union, right? And so you could call on people such as the state attorneys, attorney general, etc., right? You can allow them to have power of attorney, or if you are disciplined in it, you can act that in that manner as well, because you have the same, if not higher, but you have the same standing as every other official member of the state. So you have that power of attorney, right? Okay. So the difference between public and republic, not necessarily private, is that public it has to be, you're filling out this form, you're filling out that form. You have to do it step by step. In the republic, it's already held for you. Everything is already waiting for you to just come and say, hey, I'm the one. And then then everything operates in your behalf.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense.
If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Did that make sense to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You don't have to say me.
I appreciate it.
Most welcome. If you don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Anytime on the work you're doing, man.
This is what I'm here for, family. I appreciate it. You take care.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Okay. And now I'm going to get back to what I was getting at, right? We got off subject a little bit. Yeah, I do recognize that people have a lot of questions, looking for answers. And I can deal with those things individually, but not going to do it over here. All right, let me just make this last statement. Or let me just reveal this. Last point, so that those Moorish Americans out there with hate in their hearts, who think that the Europeans are not our fellow men, right, can get the fuck out of Dodge. And before I even make any statement on this, a man's nationality is not identified by what he looks like, but rather by his quality or character. All right. I don't even need to use that. History's in my head. All right, here we go. So check this out, right? We have a lot of Moorish Americans out there who use this segregation ideology, right? Moors versus Europeans. You see it in the Nation of Islam, blacks versus whites. We call it racism, but it's really just classism, right? Have you done a 1099A? Not at the moment, no. All right, so Drew Ali tells us about a man named right? So I'm like, I know this ain't the right marker. Drew Ali tells us in the literature about okay? We learn about this Muhammad the Prophet, right? Now, those of you who have something of an Islamic foundation would say, wait a minute, Muhammad the Prophet is from Arabia, right? This is what most of us know. Here's the issue, right? This Muhammad of Arabia died in the year 632. This is important. All right. In the lessons that we get, this Muhammad the Prophet conquers Byzantine in 1453. Okay? So now follow me here, right? This guy was a Turk. Okay? So we know him as Mehmed the Conqueror, Mehmed II the Great, etc. So I hear people say that, no, man, Turkey is in Asia. I need y'all to understand that Turkey spans one portion in Europe and one portion in Asia, right? Mehmed was an Ottoman. Born on the European side of Turkey. Okay? So, one, this is to dispel all the bullshit of Moors or Muslims not coming from Europe. Two, this is to show, right, that European Muslims are Muslims, right? In our lessons, in chapter 46, 45, 46, in the beginning of Christianity, this is the Muhammad that came to fulfill the works of Jesus. A pale-skinned European whose ancestors for 36 consecutive rules was going to head up with Constantinople. And it was this European who knocked down the Roman Empire in Europe. Him. The pale skin. The European. Now, in our lessons, we learn into who was the first person that Jesus reincarnated into. And we learn that Jesus, according to our lessons, may have been darker than myself with 9 ether hair, right? He says that the spirit, the authority that was in Jesus, right, reincarnated into a European, a pale skin look, but whose national quality and character is that of a Muslim. The establisher of the Nation of Islam was once a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Wallace David Ford, and then Muhammad and all of that. And we know that he was a Turk because he gave the Nation of Islam an upside down Turkish flag. And in vexology, an upside down flag means the nation is in distress. So don't let anybody tell you that flag is not the Turkish flag. It's the Turkish flag. It's upside down. The people are in distress. But this was just to point out that Noble Drew Ali had Turks. Mind you, the Turks are the Europeans who wear what? I'm not saying that they're all good and they're all bad. I'm saying that there are some honorable and some who are dishonorable within every nation on this motherfucking continent. And it's not about what you look like that declares whether you're pious or not, is my point. Right? So, in closing, right, I hope that those of you who are looking into the Moorish national citizenship, right? I implore you, right? When you hear these people who have fezzes on, turbans on, talking this fucking nonsense, right? Like the Nation of Islam, who says that the European, or they'll say the white man, even though we're white, right, is the bush, that the white man cannot be Muslim and cannot worship Allah. Like, when you hear that dumbass shit, right, or you hear, oh, yes, the Moors versus the Albions, when you hear this bullshit, call it out. Call it out. Drew Ali ain't bring that shit. And brothers and sisters in the temple, right? They used to say that shit, the prophet ain't bring that. Yeah. That shit used to annoy me, but now I can say that shit with conviction. He ain't bring none of that fucking bullshit. Part of my language. That you hear these people out here that are dividing the fucking nation. Drew Ali said that we're bringing everybody in. He said he came to us first. Who is us? Those Moorish American those Moorish descendants who did not know they fucking self. There are other Moorish descendants who know they fucking self. And he said, I came to all nations to teach all nations this one truth. And that this one truth is supposed to be taught in all lands. So all of that, let's go to Morocco. Shut the fuck up. If you wish to go to Morocco, by all means. You know what I mean? Nobody telling you not to go and visit. Get a feel of the place. But know that you're at fucking home, that you're from Missouri, and I got to fucking show you, and that your ancestors have been living up and down the motherfucking Mississippi since before the Continental Congress that we know of today. So we're going to stop with all the cat, right? We're going to stop making this a fucking fad. This doesn't make, mind you, the wearing of the fez does not make you a Muslim. It doesn't, right? We've got people in the Shriner organizations who wear the fezes, and they'll tell you openly that they're not Muslim. They'll tell you that openly. Dig what I'm saying? So just because a motherfucker got a fez on, and especially if the person wearing the fez is saying that they're a Mason or that they're a Shriner, they are not. They're not this. They're not this. This is not what they stand for. They stand for some other shit. They looking the part. They're playing the part and they're out of order, is what I'm telling you. I don't have to wear my fez to be Moorish American. And the fez literally pertains to Moorish descent. So anyone wearing it is imitating. And imitation is a beautiful thing. But misidentifying people, that's crazy work. That's crazy as fucking work. Appreciate you all. I'm going to end this and I'm going to go into my messages and see what's popping. And I'll bring out some more information about whatever comes to my mind, right, when it comes. I'm your brother. No matter what you look like, no matter what religion you are, I'm your brother in humanity. I have not come here to divide. I'm not here trying to tell you that I created you because you're pale skinned. I'm not here trying to segregate myself from you. That's not me. And that's not Drew Ollie. All right? Peace and love.